Hey everybody, and welcome back to another Weather with Sim forecast. And in today's forecast, we're going to be talking about another large storm that's going to be coming to the United States over the next few days. And this is going to bring a lot of impacts, as not only are we anticipating the potential for more severe weather across a pretty large chunk of the central and eastern United States, but we will even be talking about the potential for more flash flooding, high winds, and we may even need to be keeping an eye out for even some more severe weather once we get closer into the month of May. And of course, we will also be going over some other things in today's forecast, so make sure to stay tuned till the end so that way you know what to expect for the next 7 to 10 days. Let's first start off by going over the severe weather threat for today, and you guys can see that the Storm Prediction Center did add a small enhanced risk, level 3 out of 5 threat for severe weather across eastern Nebraska and as well as western portions there of Iowa. Main concern for today and what's really driving this is the hail threat, especially. We're talking a 30% hatched risk for large hail right across that area, and that hatched risk even includes areas in the yellow too as well. That means we could be seeing hail around 2 inches in diameter or greater as we head throughout today, and I think we may even need to watch for a few tornadoes right in that small area right there, and same with wind. But like I said, the only thing that's really driving that enhanced risk is the hail threat, so you guys need to especially be prepared for large to very large hail, as we could even see hail up to baseball size. So make sure to put your cars into your garage, and make sure to also secure your objects and have your tornado action plan in place just in case, as damaging winds, large to very large hail, and even a few tornadoes will all be possible. Once we get into tomorrow, another big day for severe weather, as we may even see an upgrade to an enhanced risk once again. I would not be surprised at all if they did add a small enhanced risk somewhere in here, and we will talk about why, but as of right now, the risk for severe weather does not look as high as what we might have expected, and that's because it includes a pretty large area. So we're going to keep an eye on this threat very closely, since this does include much of the lower part of Michigan all the way back down there into northern Texas. And one of the biggest concerns is going to be the potential for large hail. We're talking mainly large hail, I would say, as the tornado threat seems to be a little bit on the lower side of things, but once again, an embedded enhanced risk or even a small 5% tornado risk will still be something to keep an eye on. And then for wind, just a 15% risk for damaging wind. So I think hail is going to be the greatest concern, as we even have a hatch risk for large hail tomorrow across areas of northern Texas, back up there into Oklahoma. But once again, I still expect things to change, and once again, we might even see an upgrade to an enhanced risk somewhere in these areas, so we hope you guys are all keeping an eye on it closely. Once we get into day three also looking like another day to keep an eye on, like I said, and I think day 3, which will be for Saturday into Sunday this weekend, we are going to be watching for some severe weather, especially on the southern side of the system, but even some severe weather across the Lower Ohio Valley still cannot completely be rolled out, as this is a pretty big marginal threat. And I'm just going to be honest with you guys, this actually has died down quite a bit since we last looked at it, because you guys probably saw a few days ago how this slight risk extended all the way up into Pittsburgh. Well, now it only includes the southern part of the region, so we're not really looking at as big of a threat of severe weather as we were looking at, but we're still talking about the potential for damaging winds, large hail, and even a few tornadoes down here towards Texas. And you guys can see that, when we look at the probability of severe weather, it currently does not show any hatched risk, meaning that we're probably not going to be talking about any significant severe weather during the weekend. But that is good news, if you guys got any Easter plans. But still, you guys still need to be talking about your Easter plans and stuff like that, so that way you guys can get prepared for Easter, because even though this doesn't look to be as big of a threat or even as significant of severe weather, we're still talking about the potential for some severe weather. And then once we get into day 4 probably going to be our next big day for severe weather, maybe even a bigger day for severe weather, and we will talk about why in just a second. But for Easter Sunday, we already got a site risk level 2 out of 5 threat across the lower Mississippi Valley, and then after day 4 it ends. But if you got any Easter weekend plans, especially on Sunday, you guys really need to be keeping an eye on the weather closely, as I do think Easter could, be pretty stormy overall, especially you guys down here in the lower Mississippi Valley, but I think this area could even extend all the way up there into the Great Lakes region, and like I said, we will talk about why. But before we talk about why, let's talk about the next few days, and you guys can see that the latest from the ARRR model just wants to explode with a very favorable tornado environment over areas of Nebraska into Iowa, Missouri, even over there into eastern parts of Kansas and northern Oklahoma. But keep in mind that the only reason why we're not seeing a significant tornado outbreak today is because we got a strong cap in play. We are really happy that we had that strong cap in play, or else this would have been we're talking a big historic tornado threat over parts there of eastern Kansas, western Missouri, and south Iowa. So we're really glad to have that cap in play, and same even as we get into Friday, where we still got very high significant tornado parameters even over the Southern Plains, Midwest, and even up there into the Great Lakes region. So like I said, we're just really happy that we have that cap in play to keep these storms from, going higher, or else if we wouldn't have had a cap in play, like I said, this could have been a historic tornado outbreak. But we're thankful that the cap was, in play, and so we're not going to be talking nearly as bad of a tornado outbreak. But once again, a few tornadoes will still be possible even as we get into Friday and as well as into your Saturday. Now, if we talk about why we are seeing that, risk for severe weather during the weekend, you guys can see that once again we're going to be seeing these, high amounts of energy, moisture, and wind shear around, bringing chances for tornadoes. Once we get into Easter weekend, I think Easter weekend will be a big one, especially since we're going to be seeing all this energy up there towards the Great Lakes region, and that's why I wouldn't be surprised at all if they did extend that site risk like this to where it, could very well include a large area. We still don't know if it will, but it is something to watch for, as the European model wants to show a line of discrete supercells rolling on through the Ohio Valley all the way back down there into the deep south, where damaging winds, large hail, and even a few tornadoes will all be possible. So something we really need to keep an eye on closely once we get into Easter Sunday, as this could very well be, maybe even our biggest day for severe weather. Who knows? As of right now, we're just talking a slight risk each day, but for my opinion, this already looks concerning. And even, the days that we will be seeing severe weather, we're still talking about, a pretty good chance for severe weather. So once again, we're still going to be keeping an eye on it closely, but I'm not really seeing any signs of this, being nearly as bad as what we saw a few weeks ago. So you guys should be fine for the most part, but once again, severe weather is still looking possible. And then the last thing we're going to look at is the flooding. We got a slight risk for flash flooding on Friday across areas of Missouri, back down there in Oklahoma. Once we get into day 3, which will be for Saturday, we actually got a moderate risk for flash flooding heading from eastern Oklahoma all the way up there into St. Louis, Missouri, where numerous flash floods will be possible, some of which could be, dangerous, as we could be talking about rainfall totals between 4 to 6 inches, which would be more on the isolated side of things, but still something to be weather aware about on the weekend. And once again, this isn't going to be nearly as bad as what we saw a few weeks ago, so most of you guys should be fine for the most part, but it's not really looking like it's going to be anything too crazy. crazy, so don't get too concerned about this, but we'll still keep an eye on it. And then the last day, of course, will be for Sunday into Monday, where we are expecting the potential for flooding to continue. But thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel as we are continuing to do live coverage and keep you all safe from these big severe weather events that are likely to happen over the next few weeks. So consider subscribing to the channel. Make sure to like this video and give it a thumbs up, and make sure to also share this with any friends, family, or anyone who you know on social media. We really appreciate your guys' support, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend out there, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Thank you all so much for watching, and goodbye.